I've got just stop. Let's go ahead and call Bill to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, I will make the public notice that items 6C for the Plan Commission, which is the public participation plan, and the recommended amendments to the village draft and comprehensive plan have been requested to be tabled by the developer. They will not be discussed tonight. I did get good feedback as far as notifications and what we can do to improve, and we certainly will do our best to get those out for everybody, so you have notification ahead of time. I did advise Administrator Jesse that this item will not be on the second village board meeting in December, so the earliest this item will come back will be January. And we will post it on the website as soon as we have information. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and move forward with our agenda. Let the minutes reflect the roll call of the various trustees and department heads. Let's move on to item 3, entertain the motion approval, motion to approve 11/21 village board and file the 10/25 plan commission 11/7/22 finance committee meeting minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Motion is second, as always, comments, questions, clarifications.
I would like to, I have the planning commission meeting notice that I was in attendance for the October 25th, 2022 meeting.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to item 4. Anybody requesting to be heard on?
Nope, we have the motion in the second, we need the vote.
Motion
Yep.
second. Any other comments? Hearing on, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Anybody looking to hear on that item? Moving to item 5, business presented by the president. Any information that's been distributed in normal fashions. Let's move on to item 6, resolutions, ordinance, action item. Item A is a resolution approving the 2023 wage adjustment factor for non-representative regular village employees. More or less, this is something that we do at the end of the year. It takes a resolution to make the wage adjustments for 2023. Jesse?
Yes, this is by our practice and adopted policy. This is the resolution that comes forward following the adoption of the budget to actually enact the wage adjustment factor, or the cost of living adjustment, if you will. It was 3% as budgeted in the 2023 budget. And again, this is the resolution to actually enact said wage adjustment factor.
It is a form of resolution, takes an offer, motion, a second.
Motion. Second.
Offer, motion, a second. Comments, questions? Hearing on, all in
I have a
favor?
question.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Under the public safety, the police department has a total now of 34. So it's 13 patrol officers. And a K-9 officer and a K-9. So that K-9 is considered a new employee.
It is technically a sworn officer.
We'll
Yep,
have one less patrol officer who will come from our department to be the patrol.
correct. A patrol officer will become the canine handler. So we are not actually losing force. We're not a reduction in force. It's actually, in essence, a reassignment.
Thank you.
Other comments, questions? Offer, motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution passes. Item B is the motion to approve the resolution amendment to the 5.28 million Village of Grafton Midwestern Disaster Area Revenue Bond Series 2012, issued on December 20th of 2012. And again is the resolution.
Motion. Second.
Offer, motion, second. If you read it, it looks more housekeeping, but Paul, do you want to?
This is exactly the housekeeping brought to our attention last week by the bond council for Grafton Champ LLC. That this is amendment done. Basically, quick background, these disaster revenue bonds were available to companies for development back in 2010 and 11, which basically allows them to utilize our bond rating in the market to get a better rating. The agency that sets the rates that are changed annually is going to bump So there, he basically changed the language to be from one rating agency to another to enact the rates each year. Again, at the request of the bond council for Rapid Cheyenne.
Questions for Paul?
Yes, what's the length of this bond, or does it change now that it's going?
I believe, I don't, off the top of my head, again, it does not impact the village's rating, doesn't impact.
Right, I'm just curious, are they like 20-year bonds or something?
I think originally it was a 20-year bond.
Okay, and that wouldn't start over with the new,
No.
Okay.
And it's just the language changing how the rate annually is set.
Yep.
Paul, could you please just give us notification of the elected response?
Yeah, we said.
Thank you.
Other question?
It says in your maturity date of December 1st, 2042.
Then
where
I
do you
guess-
see that, Dave?
On the fifth document,
The fifth page?
it's just right in the first page.
Has
It's been 30 years now.
30 years.
Thank
And
you.
it doesn't really have any bearing on the villages, it's just basically giving her name. Other comments? Okay, we have an offer motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution passes. Now, I'm looking to table item 2.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Opposed.
Can we,
That the developers didn't intend this.
so, but aren't these both? These are not really developer driven. Their requests, the first one is for participation for residents, if there's ever gonna be any changes.
Well,
The comprehensive plan,
we just had, I know I saw some people leave that were thinking that this was gonna be an item that was not gonna be talked about until January.
and then the second one says it's really just to change, to recommend changes to the comprehensive plan, which is overall. I mean, that's overall, it doesn't really apply to one developer. It's something that was
Jessica
important.
is not here to speak to this. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I'm not coached up on this. I cannot speak to this.
I don't think that.
In
this would
detail.
be Fair to the board or to the public to talk about this without having the appropriate people in the audience.
Both of these items we brought up at the same time at the appropriate time.
It was, I mean, it was noticed, people are here because of this, I mean,
Again,
do we have,
it was requested to be pulled. The appropriate people to discuss the background and the story about it and the details are not here to answer questions. It was requested to be pulled by the developer who's requesting this development, that's driving this request.
is there a letter from the development, Jesse?
No, I believe it was a phone call. I didn't see the correspondence. I was informed that they requested for it to be tabled. And I admittedly, I excused Director Wolf from the meeting based upon that request.
I just don't know how we can discuss something without having the appropriate people in the audience.
And I don't understand how we can decide ahead of time that we're gonna table it if it's noticed. I mean, I don't know, those are the rules.
No, this is not a new item. We table agenda items all the time based on the request of
We have.
the developer or the person that petitioned. At this point, we do not have the people, the appropriate staff in the room to address what the particular items are and the specifics around that would be topics. So again, I'm not sure what the board is expecting to do because we do not have the appropriate ability to bring the details to the board or having a meaningful discussion or answer any of the questions to the public. I'll just do show of hands. Entertain a motion to table, all in favor? Aye. And all those against? Okay, I would like to suggest action on how to proceed. We don't
So,
yet
so,
have anybody here to speak.
so the other interesting thing is, I know Tom Krieger did not come to the plan commission. And so the information we got in our packet is very basic. It says nothing about any amendments. There's nothing specific here. We, the rest of us were at the meetings. We know basically if we got the plan commission packet, we kind of know what happened. He doesn't know. And I guess even if we had people here to talk about it, we have these documents that say nothing. Which is a good point to go forward, possibly, and make some changes going forward. I would ask that we, if we're doing anything like this, you've got to give us the background on it. You've got to give us paperwork, Jesse, or whomever.
So that was a request, I think, from that nice lady over there also, so I think that that's a fair statement, and we can certainly make sure that the appropriate background information is included in the board packet moving forward. Before the next time that this comes up as an item. So
So the other
I'm
thing,
not sure, again, I'm not sure how we proceed if, since it shows that we have, the item to table has failed. Would the board does the board wish to deal with this in December? Or does the board wish to deal with this after we distribute or collect the appropriate amount of documentation, make sure it's distributed, so everybody has the appropriate background information to provide meaningful discussion?
And we will get started.
I mean, these are public documents, so whatever the committee gets, the board gets,
Yeah, well,
I believe should be available to the public.
Right.
Because like I said,
no, I agree.
I'm very frustrated because I could not find the actual amendment
I agree.
to
We'll make sure that everything.
review and. So it looks like to me like we have people that are unprepared. For whatever reason, and we have people in the audience who wish they were better prepared. For the lack of the materials out on the website that we have access to.
And that message was echoed by several people in the audience, so
Yeah.
definitely we'll have to do that. So again, is it okay with the board if we make sure that all the information that was discussed at plan is published and also distributed to the village board for future discussion and meaningful discussion, and we make sure that we have the appropriate staff in the meeting to provide background and then answer any questions that would be appropriate to that particular item.
so right now, there's not a plan commission meeting for December, is that right?
Yes, there is.
Oh, there is? It's for the 20th,
Yes.
so would it, okay. And we have a village board meeting on the 19th, correct?
Correct.
So could we get that information for the 19th meeting? And then the public would be. Would also have an opportunity to see that information?
Yeah, no,
And
absolutely.
Jesse, did Jessica any word on when they have something for us?
No, they just asked that they weren't to be tabled this
Jessica
evening.
wasn't even here, Friday, was she?
No.
She's on-
Hence why it was communicated via email. Jessica checked her emails over the weekend. I saw it on Sunday. The clerk's office was able to respond to it on Monday, today, less than 24 hours notice, which is why the agenda could not be amended.
Would you send that email to us?
I'd have to ask Jessica for it. It's in
Yeah,
hers.
I think the
So,
board should see the
yeah,
email.
yeah.
If it's coming from a
Yeah.
developer.
I thought he said he got a phone call.
I thought it was a phone call as well. Jessica emailed me and the clerk saying that it shouldn't be on the village board agenda. I talked to her this morning and it was at developer's request. That is how this all shook down. And being this morning, when we were able to talk, we're past inside of that 24-hour emergency notice. We could not update the agenda. But otherwise, we have pulled items based upon a developer's request in the past. That is
And
not
which
an,
developers are for which project?
I'd have to look back, but we have done it based upon developer's request.
Yeah, I'm just asking about this
Yeah.
one.
So I will speak with Director Wolf in the morning.
Well, at this time, we don't have enough information. We're not gonna be able to make a decision tonight. So, at this point, it would seem most likely that we would table this till we have that information.
That would be my hope.
Yep.
I guess I'm looking for a consensus at this point.
I would agree if we can move it to the second village board meeting for December
So I was,
and be assured that wouldn't be canceled.
so I would, I had asked that we moved it to January, but I am. The board wants to deal with it in December. What is the date of December?
The 19th,
19th.
the 19th,
Yep.
2 weeks from today.
I may not be back. on the 19th.
All right, so let's shoot for, let's get everybody up to speed, and let's get the information out to the board. Let's get all the information from plan commission posted to the website and then make sure it's available to the public. When we have, again, I'm just throwing us out, when we have new information, the best information that we have, we will make sure it gets posted out to the website and the village board as soon as it becomes available.
I think the one thing I've clearly been hearing from a lot of the constituents is that we just slow down. And that we don't need to rush into these decisions. And I think that giving the board and the staff the chance to be able to get this information. The best format that we can get and get it disseminated out to the public is the best idea.
Steve?
Will this affect the other things like the public meeting tomorrow night over the other big project that's being proposed?
That's,
Since
I
we're
think that's just
delaying
a
the-
listening session.
What,
That's a listening session. That's all that is.
at the church?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an informational
What's
meeting,
the
right?
public hearing?
No,
No,
So is the developer gonna be there?
that's my understanding, yes.
Is it just in terms of getting the right information to the right people? I don't think that this is a big chore because everything that went to the plan commission.
Right.
Were prepared by Jessica.
Yep.
And all the underlying documents, she's already done all that.
Mhm.
And my assumption is that that's what you would get.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of repackaging it for the village board and making sure that the public has access to it too. So I don't think you're talking about a way to get stuff together.
I 100% agree with you.
So we're talking about the January 3rd meeting.
January, we typically will not, January for, the village board will probably post. It'll probably be the second meeting in January. That'd be the earliest.
January 16th is what we're looking at.
Again, it really. It's when the developer wants to. And then we'll put it on and we'll make sure everybody knows about it. Okay, are we okay with that approach? Okay, all right, so with that being
We
said,
need another vote then, I think.
I know, so. Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, what would we need then for the person who seconded and who provided the motion to offer an amended?
One, as I recall Robert's rules, one of the individuals who vote in opposition to the original tabling would need to introduce the new motion.
We're gonna do some new motion.
I'll second.
And this is gonna be a motion to table, and we'll call it, table to a future meeting after the appropriate information has been disseminated both on the website and to the village board.
Can we give it a date of January 16th?
Again, it really depends on if the developer even wants to move forward with it.
Jim, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't like-
Because this is a comprehensive plan amendment that's not tied to any development. It affects them, but it's a proposal that the comprehensive plan be amended. As Jessica presented, it will allow certain developments, but I assume that you want to do this regardless. So I don't know why one developer or another should have any say on whether or not the village who wants to amend the plan should be able to have a meeting on it.
I think what I'm hearing is, in addition to, how fast or whatever, I think there also needs to be some discussion, based on where does the village want to, where would the village allow multifamily? If we talk about simply an infill for self-commercial or downtown, those spaces are pretty much gone. I think that's where we need to some of the points of not rushing into this, maybe to put a little bit more thought into this based on the feedback that we're getting. So it's not just the different types of the density per zoning district. Because right now we would have 10, and then one was suggested, one amendment that was suggested was from 15 to 20. So I think we really need to look at that. And then I think again, based on feedback, is really where does the village want to allow multifamily?
I just think it's something that needs to be decided sooner rather than later, so people know what the village is going to be doing in the future, and they kind of either it's going forward or the issues put to rest. Because there's 3 big proposals out there, they're all impacted by the plan.
We're treading pretty closely to discussing an item that we can't discuss. So we have a motion and a second. We will get the information out. We will make sure that it's as comprehensive as we can make it. And we will make sure that the right people are.
And so it will be to us, not the day before. Right, we're talking about weeks before, weeks or.
Yeah, I can't we will make it as available as, I'll tell you what, we will
It's a
not put it on the.
type of taxes there, you're impacting my property value.
Let me,
I am very upset.
let me do this. We won't put it on the agenda, we won't put it on a village board agenda until we have the ability to have it out on the website at least a week before.
We can't get 2 weeks. What, now
I'm
we're rushing.
I'm fine with that, I'm responding to people that said, we have a robust there, we need to get this thing moving.
Well, you've gone through one portion of the process here, and this was gonna be the final vote on it tonight. So the paperwork already exists, I think you pointed that fact out. Why don't we get that information on the village board tomorrow?
Okay, I don't see why we can't.
Exactly.
But again, it's not being requested. We don't have the people here to discuss it. Steve?
Why wouldn't you delay the rest of the stuff, though, like the informational hearings and all the stuff that's involved in changing the zoning code? I mean, we're saying, you can't make a decision tonight, but we're gonna go ahead and promote various things and it's not just one project, it's just changing the zoning code that we spent a lot of time and money on in the past.
So the only thing that's being moving forward is a listening session by the developer. It's not a village board meeting.
That's true.
I just think you need a date certain, because until the developer leaves it open for undefined meeting time. So I think it would be wise to set a date. Board members can't be here, let them participate by Zoom if they can. So you can get a resolution one way or the other but put it on for a date. Otherwise, we're in limbo.
Could you read that motion again, Jensen?
Right now, the motion would be table for a future meeting with the information being distributed and posted online. I did not have a date certain on that.
The request is to have it 2 weeks before.
Mhm.
It
2 weeks
becomes an
prior.
agenda item.
I still have one question. Is what's tentatively being talked about for the January meeting? Are the amendment changes going to be different than what is currently being presented?
I think the only thing I would ask and talk to planning about is if we need to include discussion on where the village would approve multifamily housing.
So it could be additional amendments.
It could, no, it could be the same. It's really in changes to the comprehensive master plan. So right now, the one amendment, that would have been discussed would have been the change in density of the two different multifamily components. One of them has a density of 10 units per acre, and one of them has a high or medium density of 15 units per acre. That amendment would have been one.
And there were other changes that were underlying in the documents also.
So again, anything that goes out, we'll make sure it gets posted. We'll make sure everything, will be open door. Any questions that you have, you certainly can call. I get it. We will try and accommodate as many of the requests as we can. So, but right now, we're looking forward to be at least 2 weeks prior to being on any kind of village agenda.
I don't understand why you can't vote tonight. I mean,
Again, we don't have the appropriate people in the room to answer questions.
You had a recommendation from the planning commission. Packages go out to the trustee.
Again, we've already had the discussion that not all the appropriate information was included in the packet.
This is pathetic.
I have a comment. I just felt when I spent hours going through everything, and it's not my occupation to do this type of thing. But the wording for the resolution adopting public participation and the ordinance to adopt amendments to the comprehension plan, in my opinion, hides what is the desire of some of the elected officials and hired employees, and is in direct conflict of working for the people of Grafton, the taxpayers who put you there to work for us. We're extremely concerned about our property values. We like what's been done. She did a great job so far, but this whole thing being wrapped together really affects us and scares everybody. And you invited half of the people to leave.
All right, thank you. So we have all the feedback. I think that there's good direction. We certainly have heard all the comments and requests, so we will make sure that we will accommodate as many of the feedback, as much of the feedback that we can. Obviously, the board is a very transparent board, and if we're not communicating this effectively, then we need to hear that and we need to check that. And so we will. Other comments? Motion in a second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Show one nay. Let's move forward. Item 7, department and officers reports. Jesse, you want to kick us off?
Yep. My update for this evening, property tax bills are accessible via the Ozaki County website. And paper copies should be reaching residents by US mail by the end of this week. Preliminary audit work started this week. This is part 1 of the village's annual audit process that reviews internal policies and procedures and verifies that we are in fact following said policies and procedures. The second part of the audit process, which usually occurs in February or March of each year, is the physical review of the financial records and interviews of staff and elected officials to verify the village's financial practices in a given year. Item of note, special event, Capco's Kids to Kids Christmas event will be occurring from December 9th through December 23rd across the street at the new 885 building. This will be a walkthrough event as compared to a drive-through event done in previous years. That said, folks will see temporary no parking posted along the north and east sides of Badger Circle. This would keep traffic away from the fire hydrant locations and keep parked cars on the same side of the street as the event. So helping to assist with pedestrian traffic. Village Hall parking lot will also be available for their event as it is a public parking lot. However, they have been informed of the nights of the public meetings so as not to interfere with public access to our scheduled meetings during the course of the month of December. Chief Caponera walked Badger Circle with a representative from Capco and came up with the temporary no parking arrangement. And so that said, that event is looking to scale down, but still be held in order to garner donations for their cause, donations. Those are the updates that I have through this evening.
Any questions for Jesse?
Just update on Park and Rec. Are they having a meeting in December? And if so, are those, is the Veterans Park Shelter going to be on the agenda?
Yes and yes.
Yes.
The Veterans Park Pavilion is going to be reviewed by Architectural Review Board, Plan Commission, and Park and Rec Committee. Looking for feedback from each of those bodies on the draft plans we have.
So will those be on the website as well as part of the?
Yep. Packets, yep, that would be posted as part of the packet, yep.
This Chamber of Commerce gonna be involved since they are tourism.
Not with the Vets Park Pavilion at this point. Their focus has been on the Chair Factory Park. That's where we've been working closely with the chamber and the tourism entity.
Dan?
Yes, just if I could give a moment of recognition to Director Thomas. Nice little comment on the municipality on our snow fighting in Wisconsin municipalities. Nice work, Amber.
Okay, Lisa?
Is there any formal announcement at El on the library board with any changes coming forward?
No, I do have, and I apologize, I forget the specific date. Library Director John Hanson has formally submitted to the Human Resources Office his intent to retire in early January. So that is all the more information I have. There being an independent body, I've offered my help. They decided to handle it themselves, which that's their purview. And so frankly, I'm just waiting to hear and
Okay,
help them
so
out.
when you hear there'll be an announcement or?
That or the library board may make an announcement themselves, but yes, yep. Some way, somehow the information will
And
be.
offer has been extended, we're just waiting to hear back.
All right, let's move forward. There are no lessons before approval. Let's move on item 9, which are the bills. Entertain a motion for the approval of village expenditures, $228,796.96. The motion.
I'll second.
Motion and second, as always, the back and forth. Questions have been answered. Any further comments or questions on the bills? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 10, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to
Second.
adjourn.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all very much. Thank
Excuse
you all
me.
for the comments.
I missed the second. Who seconded the motion to
We will
adjourn?
get-
Dan, thank you.
Posted.